Steve Irwin knows reptiles. He was raised with them. His father founded the Queensland Reptile and Fauna Park near Brisbane, and Steve was just 9 years old when he caught his first crocodile. Steve now runs the park, but today his vacation starts. He's setting out on the trip of a lifetime to find the world's 10 most venomous snakes, all of which, conveniently, are found in Australia. Why this country has such venomous snakes, nobody's sure. It's probably just an evolutionary accident. Their ancestors had very toxic venom, and things just took off from there.
This trip's gonna be great. I've always wanted a chance to show people what amazing snakes we have in this country. And not in a zoo or in someone's house, but out where the snakes live. In the bush, they're not biting anyone or scaring anyone. They're just living peacefully with all this power stored in their venom. We've still got a long way to go before we find our first venomous snake, but I've got to show you this. It's quite common to find... Whoa! It's quite common to find snakes sunning themselves or absorbing the heat out of the tarmac here in southeastern Queensland. Now, this isn't one of the venomous snakes we're after. This is actually a carpet python. Now, although it doesn't possess any venom, it's still got quite... Oh! Still got quite a hefty bite. Now, when I try and touch it, it's retaliating by trying to bite me. I think it's very important that I just shift him off the road because snakes get clobbered all the time. He's a beauty.
That python will never know its luck. Of all the cars to come along, it was Steve's. A lot of drivers out here will swerve to run over snakes. Steve's back on the road, leaving the slopes of coastal Queensland and heading north for the Great Dividing Range. And that's just for starters. Steve has thousands of miles of hard traveling ahead of him. His first stop is Darwin. Snake number 1, that is number 10 on Steve's list, the 10th most deadly, is found in this tropical city in the Northern Territory. The 10th most venomous snake in the world is the western brown.
Right in the city centre, there's very little habitat for snakes. But just out of town in the suburbs, where city meets country, snakes are a part of everyday life.
Western browns have been living here a lot longer than humans, and maybe the snakes can't see why they should move just because someone has built a suburb here. Steve has heard that a brown snake has made itself at home under this house. He wants to see if it's the kind he's looking for.
It's amazing to think, with children playing so close, that we have the chance of finding a western brown snake, 10th most venomous snake in the world. Up here in the hot, tropical north, the sun is very intense. And of course, these buildings create the perfect shaded areas, nice and cool, for a myriad of dangerous animals. Mice and rats often dwell in amongst the rubbish, and of course, your venomous snakes come searching for them, and this tarp is a great place for snakes. Well, this is the first snake on our list, and I never expected to have such a close encounter. Very important I don't breathe on it or move suddenly, because this is a western brown. Real healthy looking one too. They're quite a volatile, dangerous snake, and in this confined area underneath a house, let alone in close proximity, he's best left alone.
Sometimes the best thing to do with a deadly snake in the house is to let it be, or to starve it out. Steve will have a look around and then tell the family how to do that. And right away, the problem's obvious. It's the parrot. It's not that a western brown snake would hang around on the chance of eating a pet bird, but that the bird itself is such a messy eater. The seed that the parrot kicks out of its cage attracts mice, and mice are what the snake's here for. Try changing the cage, and hey, no mice and no snakes. Now that Steve stopped rummaging around, the snake decides to come out and look for breakfast. Mice and other mammals can find their food by sniffing the air. Snakes use smell too, but they also taste the air with their tongues to get a picture of what they're after. No limbs means no footsteps. Mice can hear with great precision, but even they won't know about the snake until it's too late. The tongue flicks and tastes the mouse from a distance. The mouse is as good as dead already. Snakes were the last of the reptiles to evolve and came along after the mammals did. They're the reptiles that were made to eat mammals. Next, snake number 9, the death adder. To find this, it's back into Queensland. Steve drives beyond the cleared farmland and into the genuine bush. This particular back of beyond is known as Robinson Gorge, an area of forests and steep sandstone cliffs. Over millions of years, wind and water have carved these cliffs into ledges, caves, and overhangs. Perfect places for animals such as rock wallabies. Robinson Gorge is a very long way from a hospital, so Steve's brought his radio in case he needs to call the famous flying doctor. He's also got pressure bandages, the best first aid for snakebite. This place is so remote that the rock wallabies don't realize they should be afraid of humans, even though they might be a little impressed by this one. Getting to the lair of this death adder takes skill. It's not quite as easy as crawling under houses. These death adders are most likely to be found on the most inaccessible ledges.
This is the perfect location. Really good. So the next trick now is to search through these platforms of rock, looking for tracks and other obvious signs of death adders. Good thing to do is to look for other reptiles as you go. The sun's pretty hot right now, and there's probably some around here cooling off in the shade. Here we go, this is it. You can see here, these are very distinct death adder tracks, pushing the sand down. This is brilliant. Now we're gonna have to be a bit careful because we're close. These snakes won't move out of your way. They'll wait until you stand on them. Just come along here, flattened out, down towards this leaf litter.